Good morning, FYI family. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Let us know if you're hearing us. We've come to that place in our life. Let us know if you're hearing us. You all put away yet for the season? Put away means you put up or you back up. You put away. You put away yet for the season, folks? Do let us know. Let us know if you're hearing us too. We want to be heard. Do let us know if you're hearing us. Put on a cup of coffee. Turn up the volume. Let us know if you're hearing us. It's the morning after the night before. Good to be here with you folks. Is that a yes, you're hearing us, Coral Providence, or a yes, I can see you? Just, 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 just want to be clear. Happy delighted that all of you folks are here with us. I had a fantastic time. Not just talking with former finance minister Winston George, who did good under the coalition up to AFP government, listening to his responses, understanding Marshall Hope, with Harry to say, yes, I'm hearing. Okay, God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sonia Massey, come. If your ear was ringing recently, my wife and I were talking about you. We were talking your name. I know the one Sonia doing in Maryland. With your nice self. Sonia, how are you? Brenda Moore, Renella Garnett, Eric Williams, Forbes Meduse. Good to have all of you here with us this morning. Marcel, Sabrina, Coral Providence, Pinky Kerr. Good to have all of you on the live with us this morning. We got a couple of things being discussed. As the case may be, a couple things we think you ought to know about as you start the day today. Rena Marks is hearing loud and clear. Thank you, Rena. Thank you. Folks, let me tell you all this. We have done nothing different than we were doing yesterday morning for audio. Let me just put it on to Obia. Strong Obia. We did nothing different for last night's broadcast in terms of audio. And as we said to you yesterday morning when we were having all those struggles, all of the buttons and the lights that say audio going out, say audio going out, blinking. But audio going out. So they went Guadalupe first yesterday and they succeeded. But thank God, there's a God who sits on the throne and judgeth the affairs of men that we weren't found wanting this morning. Sharon Castello Edwards in the house. How is Brooklyn? How is Brooklyn, Sharon? Here's a little cold by the side, girl. It's a little cold this morning. It's a little nippy. I must say laughing we here now. In Georgetown, it's been raining for a few. It's a little nippy outside. Rena Marks, Loretta Argyle. Good to have all you folks on the live this morning. Welcome to another broadcast. Rena, Tessa, Devon, Ingrid, Jana, Loretta, Sharon. Sharon says it's rainy and cold. Yeah. Elizabeth Howard. Elizabeth, thanks for the thing. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Thanks for the thing, Elizabeth. Thanks for the thing. Thank you. Means a lot. Means a lot to us, People help us. We put up a little sign that says help wanted and we're happy. Some folks reach out and help us. Some of you say, they're not living big off us this Christmas Eve. Don't let he think he buy no Cornish hen and such and so forth. But I am thankful that folks like Elizabeth reach out and say, all right, I can box in your chest now. Take this hand. Right. Hand. You see? Yeah. Thank you, sir. We're good to have all of you on the live this morning, folks. Let's touch a couple of things as we begin. Naomi Drucker, good morning to you. How are you doing, Naomi? Deborah Pearson, see you there too. So this is your ears itching. Yeah. It's also this end. There wasn't Sonia. Same one, Sonia. Marlon and Sabrina Blue, Janice. Oh, good to have all of you on the live this morning. Great to have you all on the live. You know how we say it. You all know how we say it. We say we on the live. Yeah. Same thing. Both all two. It's a privilege to have all of you. Are we on? You know? 11th day of December, folks. 11th day of December. Sometimes you got to test the pulse to see. We on, baby. Right? Make sure all is well. Having a great day at our end so far. Nippy morning. Let's touch on a couple of things. I saw your boy from GCOM had a letter in the papers yesterday. One of the things we wanted to touch on yesterday, didn't get a chance. But we can circle back to this today. Let's touch on a couple other things, folks. A couple other things happening. Barbados landing at Grantley Adams International Airport. We saw recently 180 heifers. 180 heifers. Pregnant heifers. Barbados imported these cows, these heifers. They said they want to improve. Naomi, they want to improve the milk production. I thought Barbados said they had space. And that's why they sent us the black belly sheep. I thought they said they had space and so on. I see you did there, Mia. When you catch a Pacu, Royal Gulliver, Vanessa Andrews, Claudette Bobby Lewis, Sonia Sargent, all the Sonias are on this morning. When you catch a Pacu, you got bossy back. Barbados hand us the old beat up cab horse sheep. Hybrid. The old beat up cab horse sheep. They come looking little fluffy. They feed them well the couple days before. By the time we take them, they pull in some. Like Saddam Hussein. Pull in. Them boys thief out the whole set too. They give us the black belly sheep now, Mia. Sorry, now that we get rid of we heifers. We get rid of the black belly. Let's import a couple. I see what you did there, Mia. I see what you did there. And then, folks, we got this increase. Thank you for the many of you who watched our broadcast last night with former finance minister. We didn't announce it. When you're dealing with special people, you don't announce. Next thing you know, CID circle the studio. They just realized that one question Jordan for something. No. Some things you don't announce. We don't announce every village we go in and visit and look at some issue. We don't come live. That's one of the reasons too. You gone live from somewhere. Look at the people doing here. Next thing you know, police come arrest you and go with you. No, sometimes you got to go do the recce. Do the reconnaissance quietly. Incomunicado. Quietly. And then you come back and say, look what these jagabats and chanchkrapos doing here. In success in Hillfoot. Caneview Mucker. Look what they're doing here in Amelia's ward. Twistfoot said. Big nose from Alberton. Big head from Ship to Right. Chancha Paul Drive. Season's greetings all. So they get a 10% retro to January 1, whenever it comes. You see the one, Patrick, yeah? And then they give 8% next year. The former finance minister had a couple of things to talk about. That we coming wrong there. And then they said, listen this. This is like the black belly sheep business. New plan launched to promote safe living rather, and learning for migrant children. I love me some migrant children. You know, I love me some sound like Sam Hines there. Love me some migrants, right? In the name of Naomi, love me some migrants, but charity begins at home. We got so many folks right here. I want to plan for them. We got so many. Listen, if you become a migrant, you get treated better than your own guys. If you become a migrant, new plan launched. I want our migrant brothers and sisters to be taken care of. See? Uno. Right. Diciembre Martes. I want them to be taken care of. You see? But the charity. Angela Ben, Kurt Heidecken, Andrew Griffith, the charity. Gisela Roman. We're going to start this charity at home. By the numbers now, by the numbers. Couple things you follow. By the numbers. 42 traffic offenses recorded just by the seawalls. Kitty seawalls. 42. Yesterday it was raining. Got a couple errands done in the city. Couple errands, plenty. It was raining heavily. And in that rain, if you saw some vehicles on what's this street again? Mandela Avenue. Flying past you like Schumacher. By the time you could say it. By the time you could say shh. It's already gone. I don't know. Right? Hablando español, Naomi. But when I was doing that little theory, that little driving theory, braking distance was an important thing. And in wet weather, you can got good tires. Right? And you still braking this. You see them boys? Speed. Right? So they're telling us 82 traffic offenses. 82. And then, by the numbers, on a good note, they're telling us, watch this, they're telling us 100, let me come out the way, y'all can see it. 148 nurses graduated in New Amsterdam. That's good. Got some young, energetic persons coming into the system. Congrats, Trish. Oh, no, you don't worry, Trish. Congrats, Trish. You don't worry at all. Don't bother with it. Congrats. 148 nurses. We got pure nurses. We got pure nurses. And, I heard former Finance Minister Jordan make the case. Maybe we ought to get scales for our nurses. Just like we got for teachers and soldiers. And so you got scales now. One can't fit all. One size. And Gwazi Griffith, Anne-Marie Selby, Andrew Griffith. I find all Anne-Maries are beautiful people. All Anne-Maries, beautiful, beautiful people. Sean Gonzalez, going to have you in the live this morning. So a couple of things happening out there. The GPSU has signed this 2-year salary increase with the government, 10%, and then they already tell us 8%. It's only in this country get this pendulum of increases. 1 year it's up, next year down. Right? But I'm thankful that the new administration, Lionel Simon, we're taking the reins next year and bring back some order. Bring back some order. When I saw the GPSU and the Patrick Yard featuring in these negotiations, I wonder if this is why Yard has been quiet. The GPSU has been quiet on a lot of issues. I wonder if this is why Yard is quiet. You all know that the GPSU has been a little comatose for a little while. Isn't this why they were so quiet? Meeting quietly at the back. And one gets the impression that this 10% is in spite of the GPSU. Money there, so them boys buying out, showing off. This is not no GPSU hammering out. They take a 6% and all. Right now. That's how much they got to get back in the good graces of the guys, these people. They take a 5% and all. So it's not a case where, Patrick was behind the scene and you see with the anvil and so on, hammering out this thing. We got them boys against the wall here. Watch. We can get a 10% out of them. Right? We can start at 40, hammering them. Actually, probably can't recognize a nail of it. Hammering. See? In spite of them. In spite. But it makes you wonder. Look. Since I was but 3, I heard the name Patrick Yard in trade unionism. I never thought in my life, as a big person now, since it's straight here, Patrick Yard, president of the GPSU, you read in the papers and so on, GPSU president, 35 now. All right, 36. I still with this thing here now. Yardy. I feel you got a couple folks mixed with vampire, Vampire. Like y'all get the share. The share into the National Assembly when I was 13. 13. I always get that kind of shock when I hear the share try to cross to the other side, on the other side. You, Mr. Duncan, is the same lady here still? The same woman? Mixed with little vampire. I don't know. Right? They're long. Said folks I spoke with former finance minister Winston Jordan made a lot of sense last evening. Made a lot of sense. Right? We all know the whole press conference Thursday's views down for Jordan. Views down. You can hear, oh God, you can hear things with the coalition. Oh, the riggers did this, did that. Right? America tries so many of the people that try to thwart the will of the American people January 6th. Some of them serving some hefty sentences. The Americans changing government and we can't convict one person yet of all this rigging that the PP alleges. The rig. Whenever they run out of coherent argumentations, these riggers, where SOP? Whenever they run out, and then you know it's quick, they run out of argumentation. Where SOPs there? We can talk about some SOPs this morning too. As I said before I was interrupted. Before I interrupted myself, I was talking to the former finance minister. He made a lot of sense as usual. And I was there just making notes. I like make notes. I love making notes. One of my go-to tools I use all the time since I was an undergraduate pursuing law. Or was it communications first? Whichever it is, man. OneNote is my note take of choice. Microsoft OneNote. I love a little bit with Apple's Note, but like Apple Note, I got the dexterity. OneNote, I like making notes. I was making notes. That's what I'm telling you. Jordan was speaking and I was making notes. Here are a couple of things. Not many. A couple of things he said last evening. And you can revert to our programming, on our Facebook page and our YouTube, right? On our YouTube channel. We posted the whole interview of Winston Jordan, former finance minister, separately from our program last night. So you can just watch that. If you're watching us via YouTube right now, click that subscribe button for us. Make it if you're on retain and you aren't even following me. Click the subscribe button. Former finance minister Winston Jordan.
There don't seem to be a wages policy. Now that you have money, a serious attempt should be made to conclude or to put out a wages policy. What is the intent of the government? How do we promote certain skills that we need? How do we reform the public sector? Because all we've been doing is complicating the public sector. We're trying to get wrong a proper public sector by employing a whole set of people on contract. And they say they say contracted people are not the same as tenured people. Their whole outlook is more short than long term, and their whole diligence and so on, and their whole, I'm trying to get the word, but it's not coming to me, to the organization, that word is slipping me. To the organization is not there. They see themselves as more carpetbaggers than people who would have love for the institution and the love for the work. A public servant, a tenured public servant coming out of the Public Service Commission who expects to work for, on average, I think minimum 30 years, enjoy a pension when they're finished, and so on. It's different from a person who's put on contract for 3 years, is able to negotiate some kind of salary because they don't accept the regular salary and so on. So the government has to have a position as it relates to getting rid of all of these contracted employees and getting back to a public service that is professional, that is efficient, that is accountable, and that is performance oriented. And for that, you're going to need to restructure organizations themselves. Some of them you may need to restructure them, reorganize them, compress them, widen some, and so on and so forth. You need to examine the skills, right? As to whether, for example, nurses should have the same skills as the rest of the public sector and so on. So just as how you have different skills for teachers and different skills for the disciplines service, you should have different skills for the traditional public service and so on. And it should not be a case where if you're working in traditional public service, you suffer, as opposed to say if you're working in one of the semi-autonomous agencies like the Ghana Revenue Authority and so on. So the whole public sector and wider public sector, the government needs to look at that very carefully. As I said, we also have to move away from Mr. Across-the-board increase. As I said, it rewards both the laggard, the sluggard, the incompetent, the top performer, and everybody. And then it widens the wealth gap or the poverty gap, or whichever gap you want. Can you imagine giving a 10% increase to minimum wage worker? The worker gets now 8,000, an increase of 8,000. Let me see, how much is it at the moment? 86,150. So that person gets $8,615 per month. Adjusted for taxes to take off. Well, no, I think they won't get taxed. Right? I think the allowance is 100,000 at the moment. So they take home $8,615 extra a month. Compare that same 10%, say, with the president's salary, for example. The president gets a tax-free salary in the region of about $2.9 million a month. So that means he's getting $290,000 additional tax-free dollars as a result of this 10% increase. So that man at the minimum wage, $8,615 for a whole year, he gets roughly $100,000 increase, right? And the president's increase is almost 3 times his entire year's increase. That's the magnitude of and then it's more because the president's salary is tax-free. So that is the magnitude of the widening of the income distribution problems that you have with these across-the-board increases. I don't know that you can continue in this rate. And like I said, we need to start thinking about where we want salaries to be and thinking how we will get there in terms of the kind of increases that will allow the salaries to be A, competitive now with the oil industry, B, competitive with the private sector as a whole, C, competitive with the region. You can't complain anymore that you don't have money, right? Because you have a region that don't have all kinds of resources in terms of oil and so on, and that can pay far more, both in terms of salaries and allowances, far more than us. There don't seem to be a wages policy. Now that you have money, a serious...
Welcome back, folks. That's some of what former Finance Minister Jordan spoke about last evening. Yep. And we spoke for about 45 minutes. You can watch all of it. It's on our YouTube channel, it's on our Facebook page. And we separated the interview from the rest of the broadcast last evening. And you can delve into that. There's so much further there, folks. So much further. And I'm grateful that the former minister availed himself to our questions and to just elucidating and explicating, these issues, drilling down, unpacking them for us. And so we want to recommend that for you folks. This increase, folks, we talked about the inflation and where it's going, where it's at, and how 10% really, you're carrying home 7 or 6% at the end of the day because of inflation and the high cost of living and all of that. So there's a lot there we want to recommend to you good folks. Yesterday we saw an interesting letter appearing in Starbuck News, and I think some other news houses as well, in which the current Deputy Chief Elections Officer, one Anil Giddings, out of nowhere, wrote a lengthy missive stating that at no time did he, quote unquote, disappear. See, no point in time did he disappear with the servers. Right? He didn't disappear, that's what he said. That is what he'd like us to believe. Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting, you see. All of it. Tremendously interesting. When you think about it. That's what he said. He saying disappear. Father have his mercies. What did you do then? What did he do? It's interesting. He said persons have been slanderous, libelous. And the more you read his account, there is a version that he gives to the CID, a report. There's a version that he presented in court against me. And then there is this third public version in the newspapers yesterday. Serverman, he said he didn't disappear. There's a bomb threat at GCOM. That's what he says. There was a bomb threat at GCOM. One, he took the liberty to put the servers in his personal vehicle at the time in question. And then he said according to him, he went a little way away from GCOM that had this bomb scare for close to 3 hours, in his words, for close to 3 hours with the servers, with the SOPs So, as I said, a lot still remains unanswered. We apologize there. And there's a lot that we still do not know. And GCOM don't want to do any analysis or review of these elections. There's a lot we still don't know, right, about these elections. Apparently, Facebook having some challenges. It's not us. And we're getting a notification here from Facebook of itself. Right? From Facebook of itself. So that's not us. But there's still a lot of gray area. Why did Mr. Giddings take those servers in his personal vehicle out of GCOM compound for close to 3 hours? Was there nobody close by he could relay that information to, get clearance from? And his thinking is that Ms. Myers requiring the information, the data from him, emanating from a department that was under her supervision. He says that's an aberration to him, but that he should be trusted for taking the servers with the SOPs out from GCOM compound for close to 3 hours. For close to 3 hours. That's something else. That is something else. Right? And as I said, one of the other issues that still needs to be clarified as he's in a writing mood is video that purports to show him in a cupboard at GCOM what folks allege is screen shooting or taking photographs of SOPs. He said he was taking photographs of the envelopes. You will hear him say that, pushing back against those allegations that he was taking photographs of the envelopes. That's what he said. He wasn't taking photograph of the SOPs. He was taking photographs of the envelopes. Now, I say this again. Had this been Miss Myers or Lowenfield or Mingo who had taken the server in their personal car out of the GCOM compound for close to 3 hours, it would have been a different situation. It would have been a totally different situation. So this video purports to show Mr. Giddings in this cupboard.
I'll jump it back there.
With envelopes. Then he's at the table doing something. Then he's back in the cupboard. He said he was taking photographs of the envelopes. Trust him. Trust him. He was taking photographs of the envelopes. Right? So that's data 2. Taking photographs of the SOP envelopes. And then there's other video that purports to show Mr. Giddings meeting in the parking lot of GCOM and allegedly passing documentation or data, passing data to persons unknown. Those are also allegations. He's in a writing mood. He is in a writing mood. Maybe he wants to look at some of that. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he wants to look at some of that. Right? So there's that also. There's that also. But what is interesting, as I said, what is interesting, if some of the testimony that Mr. Giddings gave, and you'll hear him push back against some of those accusations, some of those allegations. In his testimony on the cross-examination by Nigel Hughes, who is representing a number of the defendants. This was before the COI, the Commission of Inquiry, into the 2020 general and regional election. Remember, he said that he keeps saying that he was charged with custody of this data, even though Ms. Myers was his immediate boss, supervisor. He said that he was following SOPs in the custody and what must be done under certain circumstances with this data. If there's a fire, if there's a bomb scare. That is why he took it in his car and took it out of the GCOM compound for close to 3 hours. That's what Serverman says. That's what Serverman says. Listen to some of the cross-examination.
It contains pages 1, 13, and 17. It's an extract of said plan.
Right. And
That's
is
correct.
that the part that deals with the disaster recovery plan?
Well, the entire document, if I may, is the disaster recovery plan. These pages may specifically deal with treating with scenarios that may likely be under what we are referring to in this particular situation.
So it deals with the removal of equipment, right?
Yes.
That is a draft, is it not?
This document,
is
yes,
it labeled draft?
yes, it does say revision draft.
Okay, so that is not the GCOM approved disaster recovery plan.
If I may submit, this is a document that is it's a working document. This is a document, as you can see here, that saw additions made to it over the course of 2019. This is a document that has been circulated to my superiors. This is a document that is used by the Information Technology Division in the event of certain scenarios related to disaster recovery. And this is not that has been, I would say, signed off by any particular person or entity, but it is a document within the arsenal of documents and procedures that are implemented at the level of the Information Technology Division.
Thank you.
Sure.
You were written to specifically by Ms. Myers, the 18th of March, about the unauthorized removal of the agency servant and copying of statements of code. Is that correct?
I may not recall the date, but yes, I do recall the message.
And you responded to that. Is that correct?
I did.
And you responded to that in writing.
Correct. Yes.
Actually, she wrote to you on the 16th, you responded on the 18th. If you were to see copies of that, would you be able to recognize them?
I will be able to, yes.
In responded to that memo from Ms. Myers on the 18th of March 2020. And if you were to see a copy of that, your response would be able to confirm it.
Yes.
And the contents of your response are true and correct insofar as you understand it to be correct.
Yes.
Are you aware of a regulation law SOP that vested the custody of the property, I should say the data of GCOM in your custody?
I'm not aware of any law in that regard,
Regulation.
or regulation.
Since Ms. Myers was your functional superior, was data ever vested, the custody of the data vested in her or you?
Could you repeat that question?
Ms. Myers was your functional superior. And
That's correct. Right.
was the custody of data GCOM data ever vested in you or Ms. Myers?
Yes, I would say I would answer affirmatively. You will have to permit me, specify what specific data you will be reviewing.
So you want me to indicate what data?
Of course, I mean, GCOM is an
Okay.
organization that
That's
handles
fine.
a lot of
That's
data.
the request.
Yes.
The contents of statement of polls as the data that I'm specifically referring to.
Content of statement of polls.
Yeah, statement of polls contain information which I'm calling
Right.
data.
Well, in that regard, I would say that being the person nominated to be in charge of tabulation for the chief election officer, the data that was gathered from statements of poll that passed through my area that I was in charge of was indeed and in fact in my custody. As regards to the custody of said data to Ms. Myers, I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
Now, you were in the tabulation room, correct?
Correct.
And that is completely separate and distinct from the room where the returning officer for Region 4 was.
Yes,
That's correct?
that's correct.
And where the returning officer was the counting room.
Well, that was regarded by us as the office of the returning officer.
Office.
I haven't heard the term counting room
Good.
being used.
Now, sir, after you responded to Ms. Myers in that memo, I should not perhaps let me put it this way. One of the specific concerns Ms. Myers raised with you was the fact that you were scanning, or what you call digitizing SOPs, correct?
That was an accusation that was made, yes.
Right. And were you aware of any regulation, authorization that allowed you to scan those SOPs?
Well, I would want to not answer that question by answering it this way. I was not scanning SOPs.
You would not want to answer it, but answering it this way. I can't follow you, sir.
I was not scanning SOPs,
Okay.
so I can't really answer that question.
Okay, so you weren't scanning.
No,
Were you using your phone at any time to take photographs? No?
that's correct. I was in the process.
Yeah, I was just asking if you were using your phone to take photographs of SOPs.
Not SOPs specifically.
Did you take photographs of SOPs?
I did not take photographs of SOPs.
You took photographs of what?
Of the packaging that the SOPs were therein stored.
So you heard it there, folks, for yourself. You heard it there for yourself. He didn't take photographs of the SOPs, he said. He was taking photographs of the packaging. The packaging. Same way he took a decision upon himself to take the servers to his car, personal car, then take the servers out of GCOM compound. With the servers with the SOPs, the data, for close to 3 hours. You gotta trust him. We gotta trust him, folks. That's what we do in these parts. We trust people. We gotta trust him. Yeah. We gotta trust him. So I hope he writes a little more and tell us, who are these folks in the parking lot? Over to you, Anil. You see, GCOM does not want to do a review of the 2020 general and regional elections for its own self. For its own self. And so they're calling upon themselves all of these accusations and speculations, huge asterisks and question marks over the 2020 general regional elections. We sweep some dust under the carpet and heading into the 2025 general and regional elections, thinking that we'll get a different result. Thinking we'll have a different result. My God. My God. My God. Let's wrap up quickly, folks. Let's wrap up quickly. Some other things we wanted to share with you. You know, in the pageant world, a lot of things happening. A lot of things happening. You got the Miss Guyana pageant. I wish we had some time to unpack this. Young lady won a pageant in 2022. One of the prizes of this pageant was a vehicle. 2017 Witzel, or Witzel, whatever you call it. She can't get a vehicle till now. And the pageant people's only response is that, oh, we were trying to get in contact with her to talk things over because the girl vexed. So she ain't want to be part of nothing y'all got. Don't invite me. I got some sashing, something, wronging, something happening. She said, I don't want to be a part. Y'all didn't fulfill your promises. You didn't fulfill your promises. I ain't get a vehicle yet. Now, if you had complications of honoring your obligation, your promises, you had a right to call the young lady in and say, dear sister, this is the situation. We know we wanted to do X. These are the constraints we have currently, and we regret that we can only do Y. They're just going around in circles like a big plane, but then come there for landing. And I could appreciate how the young lady is upset and all that. She said, I ain't want to hear from y'all. Keep your car, man. Something of that nature. I wish we had some more time to unpack it. It just makes you wonder, anything working in this country? A little pageant. And I saw this young lady, she's a brand ambassador for One Communication, you know, smiling and doing her thing out there. I said, everything is nice. But then when you go through this account of how this thing panned out for her, you know, and they want to say, well, look, we did X and Y and Z in February and March and April, and it adds up to $8 million. So you should shut your mouth that you didn't get the car. That's besides the point. You obligate, you acquiesce to do a number of things. You fell down, she pointed it out, you more vexed. She should be grateful and this and that. You know, I commend all the young women who entered these pageants, but sometimes you think it's such a waste of time. It's such a waste of time. You know, but if they want to keep getting themselves involved in that, more power to our young people. More power to our young people. But this is for such an exceptional case, I thought we ought to comment on it. Basically, to say, you should be grateful that you win. Where you want to be the prize from? You promised the girl a car, you didn't deliver, and you just want to. There's just life in this country? Come on, man. You should apologize to the young woman. Apologize. And better your ways. Come on. All right, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there this morning, folks. Let's leave it there. It's a lot happening in this country. A lot. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to leave it there and catch you guys on the next broadcast. Tanya, we see you there. Joanna, we see you there. Everett, Anthony, Chevron, Raquel, Gentle, we see all of you. Thanks for joining us this morning. We dropped off some folks, I think, because we ran into some problems on Facebook. We're going to see you guys on the next one. Stay safe. That's our time.